Hello from Dordt University and welcome to the 2021 Scholarship Celebration. We're excited to share with you what God is doing on our campus and in the lives of our students. The student body is back on campus and it's a dynamic and wonderful time. This year we're bringing together students from 38 states, 28 countries, and several Canadian provinces. Over the past year and a half, the Lord has continued to bless Dordt. The patience and dedication displayed by our students, faculty, and staff over the course of the pandemic has been extraordinary. And in the midst of everything we've experienced in the past year, your faithful support and generosity have served to encourage and inspire us. Our scholarship program continues to see tremendous growth. This year, 906 donor-funded scholarships were awarded. That's 34 more than last year. And in addition, over $2.4 million was raised for scholarships, which is an incredible 27% increase. Your generosity is making a difference in the lives of our students. It's important for you to know that our students recognize the value of their Dordt education. In the past year, over 90 of those students gave more than $47,000 to our Hope Fund, helping fellow classmates who were facing challenges due to the pandemic to be able to continue their education at Dordt. This year we have a first. The first scholarship funded by a current student. It's in the education department and it's called the Salt and Light Scholarship. It's a tremendous encouragement to those studying in the education department funded by a student in education. And working together, a group of our young alumni recently established the Denver Area Mile High Scholarship. That's intended to encourage more students from their community to attend Dordt. I'm speaking to you from the Zylstra Nursing Education Center. It's been a place where there's been an outpouring of your support for nursing scholarships. 5 years ago, we had 7. As of this year, we have 29. This is the largest increase for any of our departments during the last few years. These are just a few of the amazing stories of God's faithfulness through you that we're privileged to share together as we prepare students to serve as effective kingdom citizens in healthcare, engineering, music, business, education, the church, and in the home. As a part of this scholarship celebration, you're going to meet a few people. First of all, Sarah DeYoung, one of our current students and a very talented scholarship recipient. And then several of our donors. First of all, Jordan Heisman, one of our young alumni, who's going to tell you the impact that scholarships had on him when he was a Dordt student and why he's excited to give back now as well. And then one of our current board members, Daryl and Leanne Baukamp, are going to tell you the impact of scholarships on their children and also why they're so excited to share with you what God is doing through them here at Dordt University.
Students, faculty, and donors, I am humbled and honored to have been chosen to speak today on behalf of the student body, and I'm excited to demonstrate our appreciation by sharing my story. I was born and raised in Michigan, but moved to South Dakota before my freshman year of high school because my dad, who's a pastor, accepted a call to a church. It was amazing to see God make that move possible by opening doors, and sometimes windows. God has a funny way of doing that. Shortly after the move, my parents dropped me off at Dordt for Discovery Days. The seed for becoming a defender had been planted. This past summer, they dropped off my younger brother Jack for Discovery Days, so hopefully that seed was planted in him too. I'm working on him. During high school, I started figuring out my gifts and passions to decide what was next, and came to realize that Dordt was a part of that path forward. Today, I am a sophomore majoring in business with a minor in Spanish. I plan to attend a semester in Spain and a semester in Chicago and graduate within 3 years. After graduation, I want to attend law school to become an international lawyer. I have potential to succeed as United States Ambassador, Senator, business lawyer, CEO, or missions director. Through your assistance, I am able to pursue these goals. You are doing an amazing thing, entrusting your resources to God, believing that He will use them accordingly. Your support creates some amazing opportunities. Allow me to offer a few examples. Towards the end of last school year, Dr. Justin Bailey spoke at chapel about how to follow Jesus. He offered 3 points: trusting, tasting, and training. We need to trust God, taste His goodness, and train in righteousness. I have not stopped thinking about that third point, training, and how God is shaping me right now for a lifetime of service in His kingdom. Dordt's environment allows growth and maturity in the faith of thousands of students so they can glorify God. I have grown tremendously in the classroom. Trying to take notes during Professor Fessler's lectures made my hand move faster than it's ever moved, but opened my mind to how much we can learn from history through a Christian perspective. Professor Zevidbergen explained marketing through the lens of his work experience and always had time for a good conversation in his office. Professor Foreman often asked the class for ideas on complicated government or welfare problems, while Professor Van Vliet wanted us to think of ways to use economics to end poverty. Through Dordt's amazing professors, I am excited to take this knowledge and apply it wherever I go. Dordt is helping develop the faith and mind of its young people, and that impact on the world is immeasurable. As the body of Christ, your faithful service contributes to that impact. This past year, I was chosen as the research assistant for writing a book on the history of 2 of Dordt's presidents, J.B. Hulse and Karl Zylstra. A part of my preparation for this project, I read the memoirs of B.J. Hahn, the first president of Dordt. In his book, he talks about how Abraham Kuyper's teaching of Christian action and education had a powerful influence on his family, an influence that affected his father's way of thinking and led his grandfather to accept a call to the United States in 1889, bringing with their family that Kuyperian influence. And here we are today. I vividly remember reading that and being amazed at how God had orchestrated these details and how this history impacts me today. People and events in the late 1800s heavily influenced the founding of Dordt in 1955. And in 2021, more than a century later, I reap the rewards of their faith and am a beneficiary of their vision. God is doing a good work. both in the past and right now through you. Your current support will help push this same vision into the future. The summer before my freshman year, I received a letter in the mail explaining that I had received the Tecrunitis Business Scholarship, and I broke down. The generosity was overwhelming, and the affirmation of who I am and what God is doing in my life was powerful. Receiving that scholarship means so much to me and my family because of the work that I have put in and the sacrifices that my parents have made. Words fail to express my deepest thanks. Your gifts are changing lives, both on the campus of Dordt and through the influence of its defenders in the world. So, thank you. Thank you for your faith. Thank you for your trust in God. And thank you for your hope of what's yet to come.
Thank you so much to Mr. and Mrs. Dieleman for funding my pre-seminary scholarship. Theology is something I've loved studying at Dordt, and I'm really excited to do more after my undergrad, and so thank you for making that possible.
Thank you for the Bernard and Marilyn Wiedner Business Scholarship.
Thank you to the Verdorn Foundation and the Mike Vandenbosch family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Koldenhoven.
Thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Thank you for the Mike Vandenbosch English Scholarship.
Thank you so much for the Norm and Val Duinink Music Scholarship and for the John Bosma Memorial Scholarship.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the VIS Mathematics and Science Scholarship and playing a role in my education.
I'm so grateful for your support of my education and my goals.
These scholarships mean a lot to me. They're helping me pay for college, and I appreciate them more than you will ever know. Thank you so much for being generous, and I appreciate you.
Thank you, Marcia Verbrugge. Thank you, Joyce Owen.
Thank you for the Tulsa Memorial Pre-Medical Scholarship and the Alumni Association Scholarship.
Thank you, Doininks, for the Norm and Val Doinink Scholarship. Thank you for helping to make Christian education affordable.
Thank you, Henry DeGroat and family.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Bentz.
I would love to take this opportunity just to express a huge amount of gratitude first to the Van Donsler family for the Marvin and Esther Van Donsler Nursing Scholarship, and secondly to the Runia family for the JJR Leadership Scholarship. I have been so incredibly blessed to have received both these scholarships moving ahead into senior year, and also as I consider pursuing my callings in things such as nursing and music following graduation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for the Henry and Dorothy Dykeman Worship Arts Scholarship that I received this year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the Steensma Engineering Scholarship.
Thank you, Lyle and Marlene Bleeker.
I'd like to thank Stan and Beth Vandenberg for the Jack and Emma Vandenberg Vision into Action Scholarship. And I'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Verdorn for the Sid and Carol Verdorn Foundation Teacher Education Scholarship. Thank you so much for investing into me through these scholarships. I have been so blessed to call Dordt my home for the last 3 years, and as I head into my senior year, I realize that I've been given lifelong friendships, amazing professors, and wonderful experiences in class and in the Dordt community. I feel blessed to call Dordt my home for 4 years, and now I feel prepared to go out and teach and serve and to love like Jesus. Thank you for investing in me and the other students.
I graduated from Dordt about 4 years ago, majored in actuarial science and business finance, and moved to Des Moines after graduation, started a job as an actuary at Principal Financial Group. And a couple years into living at Des Moines, I met my wife, Lindsay.
I, quite honestly, didn't know about Dordt until I met Jordan. So I've learned so much about the university just through him and meeting his family and friends, and just have seen how God has used Dordt in huge ways in his life.
Dordt was probably 4 of the best years of my life for so many reasons beyond just academics. Everybody's gonna say that you grew in your faith while at Dordt, and that is 100% true, but more importantly, I think just learning how to integrate faith in so many aspects of life too, in what I was learning in academics, in what I was learning with relationships with other people, what I was learning about what it's going to look like to go out into the world and just integrate my faith into all of it. Through all that, a lot of growth, a lot of development, but so much joy and so much fun as well. And I'm just so appreciative of that experience, and I'm excited about it for other people too. While I was at Dordt, I was the beneficiary of several donor-funded scholarships, which were just a huge aid. I don't think that I was ready financially for everything that Dordt entails without a lot of those scholarships, and more importantly, I think they just encouraged and incentivized me to be engaged in my education and in my experience at Dordt. I think of music scholarships that made me more excited to play trumpet and be involved in the band, some actuarial related scholarships that encouraged me to take the exams, the actuarial exams. While I was still in school, there was funding for the exam costs, for the study materials, which just was a relief to a burden that you don't really want on top of studying for a difficult exam. So that made things possible to pursue my career while I was still in school, again, because of those scholarships. So all the way around, I just think scholarships encouraged and incentivized me to do well and enjoy my time at Dordt.
I think when we were talking about we want to give, but what do we want to give to, college students popped into our heads because it is still, even though we've been out of school for a few years, it's something that's still fresh in our minds about a really impactful time in our life. And so I think we see it as a way that we can continue to be engaged in that population, in that community to some extent, because we do just see how impactful and important that time is, and we don't want to forget that time of our life and continue to thank God for the ways He worked in that through college for both of us. And we want to be able to continue to see the ways that God's working in other people's lives who are maybe going through that life stage right now too, which led us to just really feel like giving a scholarship would help us to just not miss what God is doing at Dordt and what God is doing in so many college students just everywhere across the country, but specifically at Dordt.
Because of that, we decided to fund a scholarship specifically for actuarial students at Dordt University, with the hope of making the studies possible for somebody who might be on the fence about pursuing the field, or on the fence as to how engaged they want to be in pursuing leadership in the field or at Dordt in the program. So I think one of the benefits that we might get selfishly by funding this scholarship is more of a tie to Dordt, and we want that to continue. Like Lindsay said, we don't want to miss what God is doing at the university. We probably wouldn't be where we are today without some of that help, and it's from that place that we want to give back again and make that possible for more people.
We've been really happy to be able to start a scholarship for students at Dordt University that participate both in academics and music.
The reason that we chose that is because our children were both involved in those things. We always wanted them to understand the academic world, but also the world of the arts. We felt that that was important in their lives. We know that sometimes that can be a real challenge. A lot of times students who are involved in music are very, very busy, but we always appreciated the fact that Dordt was so supportive of that they were involved in extracurricular, but also in academics.
I think it gives them a reason not to give up on their music. They've enjoyed it so much, it has meant so much to them, but sometimes they get to that next level, to university, whatever, and they feel like this is a whole academic path. They don't realize the richness that would be missing if they left that music that they've enjoyed so much. And we're going to use music the rest of our lives, Lord willing, to praise and to thank with, and there's a lot further we can go with that. And every study shows that, if you continue to study your music too, the better you'll also be at your academics.
One of the reasons why I feel like we wanted it to have music and academics was that music has always been such a big part of our family's life. It was really a part of our faith walk as a family. We did so much singing together. When we get together with his family, we sing. When we get together with my family, we sing, and our kids grew up with that, and that was important to them. With Elizabeth, I think for her, choir was a huge thing in making and building friendships. So many of her friends were in the choir, and so that was a big help to her. She felt very accepted in that, and she chose actually to be in the community band, which I thought was so nice because she wanted less pressure, didn't want to feel that this is such a major performance that I have to be perfect in this or that, and the community band just offered that for her and that full enjoyment of it without the pressure.
We were asked to start, and they gave us some really good reasons for doing so. I think that's for one, because without being asked, you don't start. But secondly, and my wife really probably attributes this to the number one reason, we have been blessed by so many that have gone before us, giving scholarships and helping out in the educational areas so that our kids were also enabled a Dordt education, and for that matter, Christian education for years and years before that as well. And so now it's our turn, it's our opportunity. I think that's what brothers and sisters do.
Our kids were the beneficiaries of this when they were there. They received these scholarships, and now it's our time to give back to someone.
I've certainly seen evidence at Dordt that when monies are received, and whether that's to help other students out or for the operations or for projects, capital improvements that are needed to further things along, it has always been stewarded well. Dordt knows what stewardship is, what they've been entrusted with, and whose it is that they're entrusted with it too. And I think they have done well with that. It's been deliberate, and it has always been mission focused. We want to support a place that is faithful in its mission to God, and we believe Dordt is doing that well.
Thank you again for joining us. Every student and every donor have unique and remarkable stories to share. And I'm reminded again of God's faithfulness, how in His perfect timing, He beautifully weaves together our gifts and our needs for His purposes. Thank you for your willingness to help meet the needs of our students through the gifts of scholarships. As we look to send more Dordt graduates into the world, the need for scholarships continues to grow. Your leadership and ongoing support for the Dordt University Scholarship Program is invaluable. Thank you for what you do for Dordt and for our students. May the Lord continue to bless you and Dordt University. Thank you.